Members, we are about to hear the inaugural speech of the Honourable Louise Kingston. I take this opportunity to welcome family and friends to the gallery for this important occasion. Before I give the call to the Honourable Louise Kingston, I remind members that in accordance with the customs and courtesies observed for all new members, an inaugural speech is untimed and the timers will not be in use. The speech should be heard in silence and other members should not stand or leave the chamber during the speech. The new member should be heard without interruption or interjection, and the rules of relevance are not applied in an inaugural speech. Having outlined the customs and courtesies, I now give the call to the Honourable Louise Kingston.
Thank you, President. I begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land, the Whadjuk people on the Noongar Nation on which we meet today, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. That is particularly poignant to me as I recently found out I have an Aboriginal ancestor. Following the last election, after 2 attempts to get elected for the Nationals WA, I resigned myself to another 4 years of not being a Member of Parliament. Here I now stand, humbled, ready and determined to serve the constituents of the vast southwest region to the best of my ability. Living outside of the metropolitan area is difficult, and the people who continue to live there are amazingly resilient and innovative, often overlooked and disregarded. Many do not have the ability to speak up, and many decisions that are made on their behalf do not benefit them or the regions, but more so do not benefit Western Australia as a whole. The recent Aboriginal cultural heritage changes are a good example of this. Firstly, I would like to thank my parents who fostered a deep sense of work ethic and commitment to helping others in me. My 2 brothers, Peter and Jamie, their partners, and all my nieces and nephews. But my greatest gratitude must go to my wonderful husband, Gary, who, without his unwavering love and support, I would never have been able to achieve everything I have. Also, to my 4 daughters, Liana, Jenna, Isabella and Jordan, their partners, and my 3 dear little grandsons, Angus, Brayson and Finn, thank you. Today is also Jenna's birthday. I am so blessed to have you all in my life, and I'm very proud of you all. I also had 2 very strong and determined grannies who experienced very difficult lives and inspired me to be the best I can be and to never give up. I have been incredibly lucky to have many amazing friends and mentors in my life that I am extremely grateful to. Those in the gallery here today to share this occasion with me, thank you all. And those that could not make it, and those watching online, I am here because of all your wisdom, advice and support. I appreciate every one of you. I would also like to thank the incredible Nationals team, our current elected members, Leader Shane Love, his deputy Peter Rundle, former Leader Mia Davies, Martin Aldridge, Calder Grusser and Merrimie Beard, former representatives Terry Redman, Colin Holt, Brendan Grills, Wendy Duncan, Tuck Waldron and Hilda Turnbull. The incredible staff and the many volunteers, the branches of the vast southwest, especially the Albany branch, who I'm so lucky to have, all of whom contribute so much and work so hard for our party. We're a small but mighty team which has taught me so much, inspired me and who have helped me get through the process to be here. My interest in politics was formed at an early age. We only had the ABC, and conversations, or should I say Dad arguing with the TV at news time, were always of interest to me. I became a passionate and fierce advocate for regional WA from a young age as centralisation took hold, and I could see the deterioration of regional areas. I grew up in Albany. My father was the first-time spotter pilot for the whaling company. His journey to get there was a mission in itself and fostered in me a gritty determination to always find a solution. Dad was involved in many daring rescues and projects over the years and inspired me greatly. In 1971, Dad sensed whaling would end and we relocated to Geraldton, where he flew supplies out to the Abrolhos Islands. They were difficult times. Geraldton was very different to Albany and the work was gruelling. One day, whilst visiting the fishing harbour, Dad saw a Nissan hut and had another one of his brilliant ideas, so we packed up and returned to Albany. And in 1974, our family built the original museum at the whaling station, a tin shed shaped like, you guessed it, a Nissan hut. It was here that I began my working life as a 9-year-old, after school and on weekends, listening to people with a skewed opinion of whaling. I thoroughly enjoyed educating people and seeing a shift in their knowledge and perception. My thirst for knowledge was always strong. I thrived at school, but my lovely Year 4 and 5 teacher awakened my inner strength. After finishing Year 12, I got my first job working for the then R&I Bank, then Radio 6VA, and then the ANZ Bank. During this time, I also continued to work at Whale World as a tour guide and with my first husband ran a small business. Living in Albany and involved in the whaling station was the most incredible upbringing. It was tough for everyone, but opportunities were abundant if you worked hard. I had such great friends and it was so much fun. Albany being distant from Perth meant, I'll just grab a tissue. We had to be innovative and resilient, work together and create what was needed. It was so much easier then than today. Common sense was a necessary attribute and you didn't have to fill in reams of paper to give something a go. When the whaling station closed in 1978, it was a very sad day for Albany and for the 102 workers, given just 6 weeks to come to terms with a decision forced upon them without consideration. What happened seemed so unfair, and it was the beginning of decisions being made by those without a true understanding of actual circumstances, selling a lie and a shift in consciousness based on feelings, not facts. I became a warrior for the truth from this, and this is one of my strongest convictions, speaking for those that are unheard and affected by decisions not based on fact. Dad rose to the challenge and our family continued its involvement with the whaling station for many years, overseeing the development of Whale World. These times taught me so many valuable lessons, but mostly that every challenge is an opportunity. Sadly, Dad lost his life in 1996 during a routine surveillance flight at Many Peaks with 2 police officers and a customs officer. I pay my respects to them all for their service in the quest to protect the people of Western Australia from the scourge of drugs. The terminal at the Albany Airport was named after Dad and displays a tribute to his amazing life. It was during this time I was introduced to Speedway and I was hooked. I did a little bit of racing, much to my parents' despair, really to prove that to the blokes that women could in fact be good at racing too. These were such wonderful times, fun times, where I met so many friends, 2 of whom are here today, Jeff and Janet. My love was really in the administrative and organisational side, and I have occupied many positions at a local and state level. Then, in 2001, I moved to Manjimup with my 3 young daughters after meeting my soulmate Gary through our mutual love of Speedway. My 3 girls were then joined in 2002 by a sister. I am very proud to have been able to encourage women to take up racing and be more involved in the sport, including our 4 daughters who all raced at once, all over this wonderful state. That was an enormous commitment by my amazing husband, who gave up his racing career to let them all have a go, which we would do again in a heartbeat. My fondest memory of these times is watching them slide belly first in the clay on the track. They are strong, resilient, competent women that I'm immensely proud of, and the sport is stronger for the many females now racing. In 2001, Manjimup had just been dealt a similar blow to Albany in 1978 with a rash government decision that left 805 direct employees without a job and a region absolutely devastated. I arrived armed with my previous experience, determined to assist. The pain was palpable, and I will never understand a government decision that fails to consider the effect on vulnerable people for grubby vote grabbing, because that is what it was. When I think about this, I'm reminded of what Gandhi said. The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable members. The region is once again facing the wrath of the Labor government after their decision to close the native timber industry in 2021. And I wonder why it continues to be used as a political punching bag. Time will reveal the need for sustainable industries like the timber industry, and I have no doubt it will once again shine. I recently read Dr. Chrissy Sharp, former member of this House's book, Shades of Green, Finding a Middle Path Through the Forest. It is very well written and insightful book that describes how the mechanics of government get in the way of finding solutions to problems. I hope her wisdom and advice on managing the forest is delivered in the wake of the decision to close the native forest industry. I would recommend all those in government read it. It may seem odd that I would find similarities with a former Greens member, but Chrissy epitomised later in her life a person deeply reflective with a willingness to listen and learn and find solutions rather than chase the votes. Sadly, we lost Chrissy in 2021, and I think all who knew her would agree she will be greatly missed. I was very lucky to be offered a job as State Secretary of the then Timber Communities Australia in 2003, helping businesses and workers through the process of change and lobby and advocate on behalf of the communities, trying to get the real story out in the face of so many untruths. Our local member at the time, Paul Omaday, fought valiantly, but we all discovered it's very hard to change people's perceptions once money and resources are poured into getting a specific outcome. This work took me all over Australia, learning about other timber industry changes, and gave me such a wonderful insight into the needs of the community. As that position was finishing in 2005, I was offered the job as the manager of the Small Business Centre by one of our Shire councillors, Denise Jenkins, who was the board chair and has invested so much time into our community over so many years. The centre had closed due to a lack of funding, and I worked tirelessly over the next 5 years to develop local training and programs to assist the Warren-Blackwood area, working with the many organisations, agencies and our regional zone managers, adding great value to the program. I would also like to recognise the manager of the Small Business Centre at the time, Alison Lannon, who is here today with teaching me so much that I now rely on. Thank you, Alison. This started my journey to meet and work with a range of incredible people, many of who are in the gallery today. The program we developed and delivered was so valuable to assisting local businesses locally and epitomises the bottom-up model I am so supportive of, empowering our regional communities. I got to assist people who government decisions affect significantly and which often, through that centralised approach, doesn't work at the local level. I thoroughly enjoyed watching the region come to life and applying that approach to developing other regional projects and programs that were developed and run by local people based on their needs. It was during this time we were very lucky to purchase a local business from Gary and Audrey Smith, which we still run. My husband Gary is one of the last Bunnings-trained tradesmen left in Manjimup, and he has a depth of knowledge that is second to none. People like Gary are the glue that holds small communities together, and when decisions like the closure of the timber industry are made without something to replace it, it is the loss of these people that has such a compounding effect. It affects the other industries like the farming sector, the retail sector, the health sector, education, policing, to name a few, and leaves people devastated. It is also very hard to attract new people of the calibre of those that have been lost. The cost to the state is immeasurable in terms of the funding needed to rebuild, and I just can't make sense of it, particularly as the science, it just doesn't support the decision either. Like our live export industry, our timber industry is one of the most highly regulated and sustainable in the world. These are just not good decisions, and that is what the people of Western Australia deserve: better understanding, better consultation and better representation. My involvement during this time led me to develop a fantastic working relationship with many politicians, and in particular Terry Redman, our local member, and later Colin Holt, as the Nationals developed and rolled out the Royalties for Regions program from 2007, an absolute saviour to our neglected communities. It brought our regional communities together, empowered them and started the healing process. It delivered hope for our battered communities and will go down in history as one of the best regional programs ever enacted. In my next role in 2010, as the Executive Officer of the Warren Blackwood Alliance of Councils, I got to assist with the delivery of many projects and programs that made such a difference to regional WA. I would like to pay tribute to Jeremy Hubble, who was the CEO of the Shire at the time, and provided me with invaluable support, guidance and advice. Despite criticism of some of these projects, these were important to those communities, and by criticising them, you criticise those people, which isn't fair. Now we are seeing that investment rolled back and the neglect setting in again. In my own community, I can see the frustration, despair and hopelessness creeping back in, and it doesn't need to be like this. The Nationals WA policy is to reinstate the original objectives and the intention and the integrity of Royalties for Region. Labor has plundered the Royalties for Region's budget for core services. Just over 25% of the WA's population live in regional WA and contribute nearly 50% of the GDP to the state. The South West region covers an area of 38,592 square kilometres with 8 electoral districts: Albany, Bunbury, Collie Preston, Dawesville, Mandurah, Murray-Wellington, Vass and Warren Blackwood. These 8 electorates produce amazing food, wine, beers and spirits. There is an abundance of pristine coast, green open spaces, thriving communities and proud people. In the words of the Dalai Lama, in order to carry a positive action, we must develop here a positive vision. And my attitude has always been can do. I hope to inspire the residents of the South West region to be the best they can be. The 2022 ABS shows that there were 365,303 people living in the South West region, making up 13.1% of the state. That number has more than doubled since the 2005 election. This has put enormous pressure on the region and led to the introduction of the Royalties for Regions program in 2007 to address past neglect and the increasing needs of growing communities. People of the South West deserve more recognition of their efforts and more funding spent in the regions. This becomes especially important when the South West is inundated by visitors from Perth during school holidays and long weekends. These needs then become very evident. Better roads, health, education, businesses, sporting facilities and infrastructure benefits everyone in WA. And regional WA offers the solution to the housing crisis. The cost of living is lower and there are places crying out for rejuvenation, investment and people to fill the unmet needs. It's no good having a flash, city-centric attitude if you can't generate more prosperity and wealth in the regions. The changes now to the upper house voting system makes it even more important for these voices to be valued and heard. The Nationals are committed to ensuring the regions are properly represented, develop policies and set parameters that empower communities, boost jobs growth, fosters innovation and ensures our regional cities, which are vital to the growth of our state, support regional businesses and industry and provide a central place for a range of essential services for surrounding towns. Improving the livability of our regional cities will also generate population growth, taking the strain off the state's capital. Delivering better roads, rail and ports drives economic development. Western Australia's strength has always come from our ability to take advantage of the abundant natural resources we have at our fingertips. As the global economy decarbonises, the opportunities for our state are immense and exciting. WA has much to offer and much to gain from the massive development of the critical minerals supply chain as we harness our rich natural resources. The southwest already plays host to the planet's largest hard rock lithium mine at Greenbushes, and recent expansions are breathing new life into the local economy. Dozens of projects across the state promise to deliver similar bounties for local communities, and we have to ensure these opportunities are taken and maximised for local outcomes. Over the next 2 decades, WA will also become home to a developing nuclear industry as the nation's naval defence system turns to nuclear-powered submarines. We have an abundance of uranium. We sit on the oldest, most stable continent on the planet, and we enjoy vast distance between us and our nearest strategic threat. We have the perfect location for nuclear projects to enable our transition to net zero. Match this with the growing nuclear skills base that will develop around the nuclear program, and it is plain to see this is our great awakening opportunity. The time has come for WA to stand up and lead the nation in actively pursuing the benefits of a nuclear industry. Now is the time to release WA's economic shackles and harness the power of the atom. If not now, when? With regional airfares amongst the most expensive in the world and vital to regional areas, the Nationals are focused on finding solutions to bring down the price. With more than 1,000 active mines producing more than 50 mineral and petroleum commodities worth $150 billion annually and employing 125,000 people, the Nationals are committed to reducing the reliance on fly-in, fly-out and drive-in, drive-out, and creating residential-based workforces and developing incentives for employees to move to remote and regional WA to live and work. The Nationals has a plan for regional telecommunications to further support the 55,000 small businesses by further reforms to the payroll tax system, strengthening the government by local policy, promoting them to the world, utilising local manufacturing facilities in regional WA, and establishing an incubator fund to assist in the creation or expansion of business ideas. Our party was formed to support the agricultural sector and to ensure the industry continues to lead the world. The Nationals will develop strategies to address climate change, secure water access and manage any potential economic and social loss, such as the effect we see from the announcement of the cessation of the live sheep export trade. We will focus on community groups and not-for-profit organisations who are the backbone of regional towns to be properly supported. They provide a wide range of vital services such as emergency services, social services, events, aged and disability assistance, often with volunteers, and fill gaps that government doesn't provide. The Nationals are also focused on the proper funding of emergency services, policing, improving road safety, increased affordable housing, ensuring regional people have access and support through the justice system, that programs are developed to support victims of domestic and family violence, as well as other programs that improve the livability of regional areas. All of these improve the lives of regional Western Australians, benefiting regional and metropolitan communities and making the lives of all West Australians better. That is why the Nationals have committed to restoring the intent of the Royalties for Regions program to ensure regional people have a lifestyle comparable to their Perth-based counterparts. I became involved in the WA Nationals because they care about regional Western Australians and put my hand up as a candidate for the 2017 and 2021 election. As the old saying goes, decisions are made by those that turn up, and here I am. My last job was the manager of the Manjimup Community Resource Centre. These centres are the lifeblood of regional communities, and their staff are the most amazing people you will meet, faced with some of the most difficult and heartbreaking stories you will hear. Our CRCs are woefully underfunded and supported, as are many of our regional services. And like everyone, they are drowning in more and more nonsensical and complicated compliance and regulations that grind everything to a halt, reduce the ability to deliver what is needed, and don't make anyone's lives any better. It is those issues that I intend to raise regularly to ensure our regions grow and prosper, and that I listen to the people in our regions, bring their solutions to government, and ensure they are heard. Thank you, President, for the opportunity to address the House and those present for being here today. I'm looking forward to making a difference to the lives of the people of the South West region and to the challenges ahead.